Nobody ignores you when you have no money, they just stop factoring you into the future. Rooms naturally orient themselves around certain people, certain numbers, certain futures. And if you're not one of those things yet, you're present. But you're not weighted. You are 22 years old. Your checking account has $214 in it. You're at a dinner. You've already read the menu twice. This is where it starts. The thing nobody tells you about having no money is that it's not loud. People imagine confrontation, obvious moments where the gap shows, but mostly it's quieter than that. Mostly it's just, you're not part of certain calculations. You go to a birthday dinner. Before you leave your apartment, you check your account. $238, the dinner will probably be $60, maybe $70 with tip. You do the math automatically, the way some people check the weather. You sit down, you open the menu, you read it from right to left, price first, then the name of the dish. You find the safe column, you pick something, you close the menu. Nobody notices. Why would they? It's a menu. Someone talks about a trip, a group thing, everyone should come. People throw out dates. Someone asks if you're in. You say you'll have to check your calendar. You don't have a calendar conflict. After dinner, someone suggests a bar. Cover charge you weren't expecting. You go anyway. You order the cheapest thing and hold it for 40 minutes because you're not buying another one. Here's the part that's hard to explain. It was a good night. You laughed. Nothing bad happened. But on the train home you realize, nobody asked you anything tonight. Not your opinion on the trip. Not what you wanted to do after. Nothing that required a decision involving money included you in the making of it. The check came. Someone picked it up before it fully touched the table. Not unkindly. Automatically. Like the math had already been done. You stare out the window. The train moves. You are not dismissed. You are simply not included in the calculation. That's different. It takes a while to understand how. Your mom calls Sunday evenings. The call has a specific architecture. Neither of you names. First question, how are you doing? Second question, within 90 seconds. Some version of, are you okay financially? She doesn't say it like that. She says, are things stable? Or sometimes just a pause after you say fine. A pause that means she's deciding whether to believe you. You say you're building something. You use the word building because it implies motion without requiring a number. She says to make sure you're not eating out too much. You are 24. You say okay. You change the subject. She circles back once. Do you need anything? You say no. A little too fast. Your dad visits. You take him somewhere real. You pay. He lets you pay, but he glances at the bill before you pick it up. You watch his face run the number. He doesn't know you're watching. He says the food was great. He means it. In the car, he tells you to make sure you have 3 to 6 months saved. You've heard this from him at least 4 times. You nod. Then something you don't expect. You're helping him in the garage later, and mid-sentence he stops and looks at you and says, "You're okay though, right?" Not accusatory. Just checking. Still checking after everything. Something moves through you that isn't frustration. It's closer to tenderness. The specific tenderness of realizing your parents are scared of the same world you are, just from a different angle. You say, "Yeah, Dad, I'm okay." You mean it more than he knows. They're not doubting you. They're remembering themselves. The worry doesn't disappear. It just goes quiet. Not a conversation, not an acknowledgement. The calls just change tone. The pause after "I'm fine" gets shorter. Your mom stops circling back. Eventually you identify what changed. She stopped bracing. You're 28, 29. You have a number that means if something breaks, car, furnace, a medical thing, you handle it. You don't call anyone. You just handle it. You don't realize how much mental energy went to that specific fear until it starts to ease. At Thanksgiving, your uncle asks whether he should refinance. He's looking at you the way he used to look at your dad when you were a kid. You answer carefully. He nods. Doesn't interrupt. Afterward, in the kitchen, your aunt tells your mom, "He really knows what he's talking about." Like you're not 6 feet away loading the dishwasher. You keep loading the dishwasher. The expectations that appear next come without announcement. A cousin mentions they're struggling, and everyone glances at you a half-second longer than anyone else. A family trip gets planned, and nobody asks if the price works for you. Which sounds like freedom, but is its own pressure. You're expected to be fine with whatever number gets decided. You are fine with it. But assumed fine and earned fine feel different in a way you can't explain without sounding ungrateful. So you don't explain it. At a restaurant with friends, you open the menu left to right now. Name before price. Mostly. Except once you catch yourself checking the right column first out of habit and close the menu a little faster than necessary. The bill comes, you split it evenly. You don't do the math. On the drive home, you feel something you don't immediately name. Not happiness. The absence of a specific friction. You expected that to feel bigger. Hey, I know this is random, but wanted to get your thoughts on something. The text comes on a Tuesday night. Not to hang out, not to check in. You know before you meet them what the conversation is going to be. You don't know the specific ask yet, but you know the shape of it. Coffee. They explain their situation. At some point they get to it. They look at you with an expression that is simultaneously hopeful and apologetic. You say you'll think about it. You drive home and sit in the parking garage doing a different kind of math. Not money math. The other kind, what saying yes costs, what saying no costs, whether those numbers are even in the same currency. You say yes, you shouldn't have. But you don't yet have the language for no. That doesn't feel like a door closing. The friendship survives. Technically. Something recalibrates. You feel it at the next dinner. Gratitude with an edge. The kind that reminds both of you of something you'd both prefer to forget. Then the other things start. The check at group dinners starts arriving in front of you. Not the center of the table. You. Nobody comments. You pick it up. Someone says thanks for getting that like it was decided before anyone sat down. A colleague hears you're doing well. His tone recalibrates by the following week. Not dramatically, just repositioned, like he did the math and updated your value. Someone says must be nice when you mention something offhand. Not mean. Reflexive. The two-word summary of a distance neither of you asked for. People become very generous with your money. And the strange thing is, they don't even notice they're doing it. You mention the agreement thing to your partner lying in bed. They laugh. Stop laughing. Say yeah, I've noticed that too. Neither of you says anything for a moment. Reference point. Family dinner. Too many people. Not enough chairs. Your aunt is mid-story about your cousin, a decision that didn't work out, and without looking at you she says, well, not everyone thinks ahead the way you do. Your cousin is sitting across from you. He heard it. You both heard it. He looks at his plate. You look at yours. Someone passes the bread. On the drive home you think about him. Not guilt exactly. Something adjacent. You've become, without applying for it, a measurement. You can't resign from it. Bringing it up would sound like complaining about success, which is its own impossible position. So you get good at asking other people about themselves. You listen well. People leave dinners feeling heard. They tell mutual friends you're one of those rare people who actually listens. You are listening. You're also just doing what's easier. Then, something shifts the other direction. Your parents are visiting. You take them somewhere genuinely nice. Your dad orders without looking at prices. Your mom gets dessert. The check comes and you pick it up and your dad lets you. No calculation on his face, no quick glance, and something in your chest does a thing you weren't prepared for. Not triumph. Just relief. Old, specific relief. The kind you'd been building toward without knowing that was what you were building toward. Later that week you're at dinner with someone from the early days. Someone who was at that first dinner, $214, the calendar excuse. You watch them open the menu. Right to left. Price first. That careful stillness before closing it. You don't say anything. But weeks later, driving, it comes back. And you sit with what it costs to have traveled this distance. Not money. Something harder to account for. You are no longer their child in these conversations. You are evidence. You're not always sure of what. Your dad calls on a Thursday. Not Sunday. Thursday. You see his name, and before you can stop it, something is wrong. He doesn't call on Thursdays. Nothing is wrong. He wants to ask about his money. Whether a guy at his bank is steering him right. He explains carefully, more carefully than he needs to, like he's worried about wasting your time. Your dad. Worried about wasting your time. You tell him what you think? Straight. He says, yeah. That makes sense in the voice you recognize from childhood. The one he used when a mechanic explained something he actually understood and trusted. You sit with the phone after. There was no moment when it switched. No conversation where roles changed hands. It just happened, year by year, until one Thursday your father calls and listens to your answer like you're someone who knows things. Which you are, which you've been for a while. Knowing it and having him call you on a Thursday about it are different things. You fly home. Same driveway, same cracked concrete, bent basketball hoop nobody ever fixed. He comes out before you cut the engine. Hand on your shoulder, stays a beat longer than it used to. Dinner is easy in a way it wasn't always. Your parents ask about your life with a different kind of curiosity now. Not worried, just interested. Like they're reading about somewhere they've heard good things about. Later your mom says offhand, neighbor's kid is struggling. Wouldn't it be nice if someone could help? And she doesn't look at you when she says it. You understand. You say you'll look into it. But sitting there, same chair you sat in at 17 with $200 and nowhere to put it, the room is the same. You are not. That distance isn't measurable in any unit that makes sense. The warmth is real. The shift is also real. You're finding out those two things don't cancel each other out. The homework starts before you walk in. Someone knows your name. References a project, a decision, something you said at an event you barely remember. They did their research. You can tell. The conversation is good. They push back once, which feels honest. You leave thinking you'd like to talk to them again. On the drive home you try to find the moments that felt real. One, maybe two. The rest was constructed. Built to land well with someone like you. You stop there. You don't need to unpack it further. You already know. You start doing something without deciding to. With new people, you'll say something slightly wrong about yourself. A number a little off, a detail misremembered. You watch to see if they correct you or absorb it. Most people absorb it. A few correct you. Those are the ones you remember. At a dinner of 8, you're seated next to someone who built something real. You talk for 2 hours. Most honest conversation in months. Not because they're more trustworthy, just because they have nothing to position relative to you. No current running underneath. You drive home thinking about how rare that felt. Then you sit with the fact that it felt rare. Your phone is full. Your calendar is full. But you can be in a room of 20 people, all paying close attention, and still feel like nobody is seeing the full version, the one that existed before you were something to manage. Christmas. Your mom hands you coffee without asking how you take it. She already knows. She's always known. You wrap both hands around the mug. 30 seconds of just a person drinking coffee, someone who loves you, made without asking. Nothing prepared, nothing managed. Outside the yard is quiet. You think, I should come home more. You don't, but you think it. There is no moment. You spent a long time waiting for one. Some morning where the number crosses a threshold and something in you shifts to match it. It doesn't come, or it came years ago, and you missed it. Small dinner. 4 people. Careful conversation that turns real when someone says something with an actual edge. Something that risks something. The room goes quiet, not uncomfortable, present. Nobody manages it away. You think, that, more of that. Outside afterward, waiting for your car. One of them asks, no business attached, no number involved. Are you happy? You open your mouth, close it, you have to actually think about it. You tell her most days, she nods like that's the right answer, not the happy answer, the right one. You're 51. Dinner that night at a small place. Nobody here knows you. You open the menu and you don't know which way your eyes go first anymore. Left to right to left, you genuinely can't tell. The prices aren't a variable, haven't been for years. But the muscle memory of checking, that low-level vigilance from a dinner table at 22, you're not sure it ever fully left. You're not sure it should. You eat. The food is good. The car home. City outside the window. Phone face down on the seat. 14 unread messages. People who want things, people who need things, people who are genuine, people who are both. And you're mostly good at telling the difference except the ones who are genuinely both, which is most of them, which is also most of you. The silence sits in the car with you. You used to fill it. Music, calls, the next thing. Tonight you just let it stay. You think about your dad calling on a Thursday. Your mom's coffee. A train at $22 and $63 and a table where nobody factored you in. Not nostalgia. More like a language you learned young, still yours, just not the one you think in anymore. You think, I should call my dad this week, not Sunday, just this week. You probably will. That's new.